It's fourth and loaded! What's this about? We don't know! Why am I angry? I don't know! Here's Lana and Packle!
All right, it's June 8th. It's been a while since we have done this, so unfortunately there's a lot has happened, a lot to talk about. We'll try to keep it as short as we can, but we'll get into that. I try not to keep it super sports related, but most of my brain cells are thinking of sports. But anyways, I'm Packle. That lady on the other side over there is Lana.
Lana.
What?
All right. So, like I said, it's been a while. Quite a bit has happened. I guess the main thing is the ongoing Bears Stadium issue is probably the thing that's encompassing most of my time arguing with people. So now I'm fighting both sides of the battle with this because no matter what they said, nothing is official yet. I won't believe they're in Hammond until I see them put shovels in the ground somewhere in Hammond. So
Until you see the jersey that says Hammond Bear.
First of all, I'll get to that. Yeah, it's still leverage as far as I'm concerned. I'm pretty sure that they will take the Hammond deal if Illinois can't get their freaking head out of their ass. But
Brandon Johnson went to the Pope, okay? He's got the Pope on his side.
the Pope is, that is working for the White Sox. But there's no way. I don't think they're ready to go to Hammond. They're giving Illinois every opportunity. They're like, sure, we're super really leaving this time. I swear to God, we're going to turn this car around, and they're slowly turning the car around. So a lot of the people that most of the people around here, I live right on the border. For those that don't know, I'm sure everybody knows. But I live in Illinois, but I live on the border. I grew up in Indiana. So I follow a lot of Indiana pages. A lot of the Indiana local people around here celebrating it, and I'm like, nothing's official. The statement was more word salad. It's like they put out these statements every 3-4 months. Yeah, it's just word salad. It doesn't say anything. They don't commit to any place. The only thing
They just get people pissed off. I remember I was somewhere and the first one came out and it was like, oh, the Bears are really gonna move to. And you're right. It was like we're gonna, we're gonna leave this time, And so then I was somewhere and this guy was like, oh no, you gotta edit that out. I was somewhere and this guy was like. He literally freaked out. I don't know where I was, but he stood up out of his chair fell down, and he's like, "God damn it!" And and then he said what happened. And I start reading it, and I'm like, "Is this real?" And I'm on Twitter, and nothing's happening on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't know.
Commit. Just do it. Go. I go where you got to go. But this whole back and forth garbage. It's just it's the longest, stupidest process I've ever seen. I think they should take the Indiana deal. Indiana's giving them all kinds of money, but there's so much now that this has gone national. Right now, it's a national story, more so than it was before because now everybody saw.
Because everything that happens in Illinois is embarrassing. It's Correct. Literally the most embarrassing. Everything is blown out of proportion. It's got to be the most embarrassing fucking story. Until something happens. That's
they
the only
bought
way
the Arlington Heights property 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It doesn't matter. They've been trying to get an agreement for 3 years. Indiana took 2 months, put something together, and be like, here you go. I just don't understand why they. I still firmly. I think they're going to end up in Arlington Heights. They're not going to end up in the city. There's just no room to build in the city, and Friends of the Park won't let them use any land that is available to build. It's just they'll try to say they're going to build in the lakefront. Friends of the Park will throw in the. They'll do something.
Friends of the Park is that strictly Grant Park?
And it'll
Is Friends of the Park is that strictly Grant Park?
Mm-mm. They're just this freaking nature group. I don't know what the hell they do. I probably should have Googled it and had some information. But anytime somebody wants to build, they protect any of the Chicago landmark or any of the Chicago parks or nature areas. and they're very litigious, so they'll sue for everything. George Lucas was going to build the Lucas Museum on the lakefront, right? And they drove him out because they gave him so much hassle, and it would have just prolonged everything. So he went and built in L.A. So there's no way they can build in Chicago. There's nowhere to put it. So Arlington Heights or Hammond are the two options, and if they want to move to Arlington Heights, I still think that that's probably where they want to go, considering they own $2 million worth of property out there that they can sell. I mean,
well, they'll sell it for a data center.
Yeah, they'll put something there. I just think it's funny, so there's so much misinformation out there, which really aggravates me. People want to spend, and that's what social media is, right? Social media is just a bunch of people with zero information, just spouting what they think they know to sound important because nobody's going to call them out or whatever. So there's so much misinformation. First of all, the Bears said the Bears aren't trying to get Illinois to pay for a stadium. The Bears said they would spend $2 billion with their own money to build this stadium. They're asking for infrastructure support and property tax certainty, which I get it. I would like property tax certainty too, right? My property taxes, so are yours, are outrageous. It sucks. I understand where people say, well, why did the Bears get special privilege? I don't think they're asking for. They are asking for special privilege. I can't say they're not, but what they're asking for is just to not be so that the highest a team pays in taxes on a stadium is SoFi in LA, which isn't even in LA, which is another point that we'll get to. They pay like $14 or $15 million. Under the current, without an agreement, the Bears would be paying $50-some million a year on taxes. That doesn't seem a little out of place, out of whack. That's just the state of Illinois. All they're asking is to not pay 10 times, 5 times more than the next highest paid tax team. That's not a lot to ask. And then they're asking for infrastructure support, which to me is a no-brainer. I don't understand why that's a problem.
Or why it's taken this long.
Right. I mean, I know that technically infrastructure support would have to come out of the taxpayers, right? Taxpayers would have to pay for that. But I don't see what other option they have. I think the Bears should just they should just go to Arlington Heights, plop this giant mega stadium build out, spend your $2 million. I guess the taxes are one thing, but they should just plop it down there in Arlington Heights and do fuck the infrastructure. And then let all these towns try to figure out how these people are getting in and out of the stadium. It's we built a stadium. What are we supposed to do? It's not like the Bears can build a stadium. It's not like a business, any business, can just build on a property of land and then just start tearing up all the roads. You know what? This state road here, we don't like it. We're going to make it 6 lanes. Truthfully, a business could just, if businesses were allowed to tap it, do their own sewer work and take the water and do all that stuff on their own, why wouldn't a business just build a property and then immediately tear down all the roads and make every single road in that area just funnel into their parking lot? Oh, well, you got to come here now. There's nowhere else you can go.
You're already here. Might as well buy something.
Yeah, that competitor across the street, they have no road access anymore. We tore it up. We're changing the infrastructure. So that whole infrastructure thing, it's the state's responsibility to fix it. It's not the Bears. Yeah, the Bears could pay for it if they wanted to, but they're not. They don't. The Bears don't. For one, the Bears don't have cash. They don't have cash. They don't have liquid. Everything's tied up in the team. So how and people want to blame the McCaskies for that. That's just who they are. They own the Bears. That's what they do. They're not a real.
McCaskies are just unlikable in and of themselves.
But I mean, they own the team. That's just, they don't have other businesses. Most other NFL owners, the football team's like a hobby, right? They bought the team with
right, which is why we should have more Super Bowls, because this is the only thing that they fucking do.
Right,
you can't be good at the only fucking thing that you do.
That's who they are. You can't make them sell the team. They own the team.
No, I understand what you're saying, but again, they should be better at what they do.
Well, yeah, they're not a very well-run organization, but they're basically a mom and pop. It's literally a mom and pop shop trying to run a $1 billion organization. They're not good at it. That is what it is. They're just not good business people, and obviously they may have had other business. They probably all failed. You can't fail with the NFL team because just by opening the door, you get hundreds of millions of dollars thrown in your lap from the TV contracts that you don't have to do anything for. It's just part of the deal. So you really don't have to do anything to make money as an NFL team. But the problem is, like I said, they don't have a lot of liquid. Like, all the money that they make goes back into that team. So you at least respect them for that. It's not like they're hoarding money. They literally don't have any. But, everybody wants to say, I saw a lot of, they say that Ricketts, Ricketts paid for all the renovations at Wrigley out of their own pocket. They did. After they fought the state for money and couldn't get it, right? The state said no, so Ricketts did himself. Yeah, but you also understand that the Ricketts got infrastructure support. They got a lot of infrastructure support from the state and the county and the city. The Wrigley's getting the All-Star game, in 27? Is it next year? Wrigley's getting an All-Star game in the next couple of years. But in order to get that All-Star game, they had to get the city to provide additional infrastructure support because they have to have certain roads that they got to close off. There's a lot more logistics when they bring an All-Star team. So they got support with that. So it's not like this doesn't happen. Jerry Reinsdorf threatened to move the Sox to Tampa Bay and got Comiskey Park built on the taxpayers' dime, basically. And
They're still threatening to leave.
They're going to leave that park, but they're not going to leave the city. I think they should go to Northwest Indiana too. But Reinsdorf's just he's a real estate tycoon. He's a negotiator. He's a businessman. So he bet the state over. He still gets money. Like, if they don't draw enough, he gets like supplemental income from the state. Like, if their attendance doesn't hit certain marks.
Yeah, like a welfare case, like most of their fans.
Yeah, it's actually he makes more money if they suck from the state. So he got that deal done.
So do all their unemployed fans.
Yeah, hey, the Sox are fun. I'm enjoying watching.
They suck
the
and they get paid for it. There they go.
What was that?
I said they suck and they get paid for it.
Right. But just going back to the stadium thing, so that's the whole thing. The thing that bothers me probably most is, like, it's hard for me, like, the out-of-town stupid, like, people are like, oh, first of all, they're not going to be the Indiana Bears. Like, there's, it's 8 teams.
The Indianapolis Bears.
I'm just tired of arguing with people, and you have to argue with people that live here that don't understand that Hammond is part of the Chicago area, and it's all this like,
dude,
but it's a different state.
No, you're right. That is really hard because I am fucking sick of explaining to people like what Chicagoland means. Chicagoland Speedway is in fucking Joliet.
Right, but and then you bring that argument, like, you want to bring the argument up, like, I mean, if it's a different state though, okay. Since when does a metro area, like this magical state line that apparently offends everybody, like you can't cross it? The stadium where they want to build it. I have
a feeling that all the people that it offends is literally just within 50 miles of any point in this.
These weird
from Soldier Field.
These weird gatekeepers of like Illinois, like,
yeah.
And it's mostly like gotta be northwestern suburb people, and I get it. That's where more of the money is, but they think Indiana is like this desolate place that doesn't exist. And even listening to the score this morning and how they're like just they were going on and on, how could they move to Indiana? It's Indiana. It's like millions of their listeners live in Indiana. Like, they broadcast in Indiana. That's part of their media market. Like, I just don't understand why people just are gotten to this point where, like, so it's very offensive. Like, I don't live in Indiana, but I grew up there, so I'm going to defend it. But like, people don't understand. They think it's all like industry. I'm like I want to argue with all these. I tell all these people in Illinois that, like, oh, I can't go to Hammond. Nobody there can afford to go to games. Yeah, that's all right. Nobody in Hammond's it's not gonna be those people. But go 10 miles east, 10 miles south. Those Indiana people can definitely afford it. I said, if you go, like, I try to tell people, I was like, why don't you take a drive to like St. John or Valpo? I said, you probably will see half of your old neighbors there, because that's where everybody is moving. Like, Illinois has a massive migration problem, and it's all to Northwest Indiana. You can look at the census reports and whatever. I'm not going to get into those numbers, but it's one of the biggest migration areas from mainly Cook County, but mostly Illinois into that Northwest Indiana area. Like, Hammond and that area is very industrial, but There's a concert venue right there, right where they're gonna build that stadium that draws thousands of people every summer for their summer fest. And they have pretty big acts. They have Jelly Roll's going to be there this summer. I think Limp Bizkit was there. Not that Limp Bizkit's a big act anymore, but he was there. Ludacris has been there. So they have a lot of acts there. And the Pierogi Fest is literally a few blocks east and north of there. And people come from all over the country to that. And that's just if you like pierogies, that's a fun fest. But I go there. It's a beer garden and everything else. It's fun. So it's like, and they want to act like it's on a slag heap, and I just don't understand. Like, people realize where Soldier Field was built on too, back in the day. Like, yeah, they'll fix it. They'll rip up everything there. It's just slag. Like, I hate to tell people like that are so concerned with it being a slag heap. Like, all these people probably are the same people that buy various forms of fertilizer for their yard in malagonite. Which is literally shit. And they put that in their yard all the time, but you're worried about being on a slag heap. It'll be fine. That's
what did Allison call it? Milo granite?
Milo granite, yes. Milo granite. Yes, so the people who buy Milo granite, which is literally bugs, shit. It's literally shit of bugs ground up. That's it. That's
what the porta potties sell back to us.
Right. I just don't. That's just aggravating. It just aggravates like the whole Indiana thing. Like, everybody all of a sudden doesn't know where Indiana is.
I want them to move to Indiana. I don't give a fuck.
I do too.
I'll take Route 30 and drive through the hood, and I will go enjoy a game and tailgate and do things that I haven't done since I was a kid because Chicago keeps shutting it down.
Yeah, they'll build up around it. There's really nothing there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, right in that area of Hammond, other than that little concert venue that they just put up, there's really nothing there.
It's a blank slate. They could put hotels and throw fucking another casino in there. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but people like I don't know what it is about the state line that bothers so many people. Like, if they were gonna move to Arlington Heights, it's literally further away than Hammond is.
It's just the idiots, honestly, because like you said, so you got all your neighbors and shit that moved to St. John and all the because those were the smart people. and now
I
you're
consider
left with
myself
the idiots who are here and they're like, I can make it in Illinois. How come you can't, you loser? Because they didn't want to.
Right. Like, trust me, if I have the opportunity to move to Indiana, I will. But at this point in my life, like, if I move, it's probably gonna be somewhere warm. So
that conversation comes up probably 5 times a day in this house. Where are we moving? And we're in a collar county. Chicago, Will County, they both fucking suck.
Yeah, at least you're in Will County though. Like,
correct. Yeah. Cook County, I don't even know how anybody's surviving in Cook County anymore.
It's funny, like, a lot of Cook County, especially like around the southern suburbs and especially as you get a little bit further, west, like over into Harvey and in Phoenix in that area, those are just be what they are. They're poor areas, right? I don't know how those people pay property taxes because they ain't making their property taxes more than yours.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, without getting into details, and they can, that's where they live. They live in this like probably a 900 square foot house. That's hundreds of years old, and they're still paying these ridiculous property taxes, but. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to go to Indiana. It frustrates me with all of a sudden now everybody wants to act like either they don't know where Indiana is or understand how close it is. Like, Hammond shares a border with the city. Like, I think it's the longest continuous border of any two towns that border Chicago. I'm pretty sure it's Hammond and Chicago. They have the longest shared border. And where they want to put that stadium, and I don't know where it's going to go, but where they said they want to put it, which is right there by Wolf Lake, is literally blocks from Chicago's city limit. So they're going to be like, everybody's like, oh, it's so far away. It's like 3 blocks outside of the city. Now,
I would really enjoy if they put, I don't even care if it's a fucking toll road, but if they put like a connecting toll road, if they could do like, I don't know, bypass 80 something. There has to be another way to get there.
they would have to do major infrastructure to get people in and out of there. Because right now, the Skyway and the Indiana Tollway dump off right there, which would be fine for anybody coming from the north. But I don't know how you would funnel people coming from the west and the south in there.
You'd have to go through 80 or Route 30 or take a back roads, and if you go Route 30, you're getting held up by gunpoint. So I don't know, like, I'll take the chance, but I'm going to rent a car.
I'm sure that they'll extend the South Shore train in there. I just don't know how. Right now, I think it's about 3 miles, the nearest station. So they'd have to put a feeder line over there, which I don't know how they would do without, because it's pretty much where it stops is residential. So I don't know if there's really an area they could do without tearing shit down. But
yeah, and I know I mentioned it before, but I know that Chicago has a plan to extend the CTA and the L lines and shit. That plan is 100 years. It literally says like the whole plan is 100 years. So in 100 years, this is where they plan on being. Like it's not a quick fix.
It's not. It's not. But there's at least enough infrastructure that they can make it work over there. It's obviously would take a lot of time to get total. Like I said, my biggest concern was how people from the south, because really the only roads coming in from the south, you'd have to take 8094 to
hey, give me a second. Take the time. Fucking kids.
Alright,
sorry.
Over.
Gio's in this like screaming phase right now, so he's just gonna stand there and fucking scream until I acknowledge him, so
it's effective. You give him that credit.
Yeah, it's he keeps me up all night for the last 2 weeks now.
It's like night terrors?
No end in sight. No, it's this whole fight that I've had. So he was sleeping fine, and then all of a sudden he starts waking up in the middle of the night and he's screaming. So I'm like, I thought he was spitting his pacifier out, so I put it back in. That went on for like a week, and then finally I pulled the fucking thing. I took it away from him. Like, you can keep spitting it out. I'm just gonna take it away. Then the one night he screamed the entire fucking night, and it was like I was awake the whole night. So that night I made a doctor's appointment. I took him to the doctor's appointment. He screamed through an hour and a half of the doctor's appointment. Jesus. She came in and gave him ibuprofen. She's like, we'll try this and see if he calms down a little bit. Nope. So then I was like, well, he keeps putting his hands in his mouth. I'm like, maybe he hurt his teeth. Maybe he fell and hurt his teeth or something. So I had a dentist appointment on Saturday, and I talked to the dentist, and, I'm talking to the hygienist, and the hygienist is like, well, it's probably his 2-year molars. And I'm like, no, he has all his teeth. And she's like, well, when they get their 2-year molars, it really hurts them. And I'm like, yeah, but he has all his teeth. And, like, this went on for, like, 5 times back and forth, And she's like, well, there's supposed to be 10 on top and 10 on bottom. And then, like, I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he has 10 and 10. So, fuck off, Like, then I come home, and he's got 8 and 8.
So that's what it is.
It's 2-year molars, yeah. I made a doctor's appointment.
Okay, the THC drink. That'll calm him down.
The what drink?
THC drink.
Yeah. Well, I've been drugging him up every night, so last night I actually slept. Alright. Anyway, sorry.
This is why I don't have kids. Alright. Just the last couple things on the stadium thing that I have to argue with people. Like, I've gotten arguments with people that want to say because it's Indiana, it's not part of Chicago because, again, the magical state line stops anything. Like, the 4 corner counties in northwest Indiana, like Lake Porter, Jasper, and Newton, those 4 counties are stay on Central Time, right? Because of Chicago. The rest of the state, and then there's a few counties in southwest Indiana that stay on Central too, again, because their metropolitan area around Evansville is actually 3 states. It's Kentucky, Illinois, and Indiana. In Kentucky and that part of Kentucky and Illinois are central, so they stay on Central because of that. That's the metropolitan area. Same with Northwest Indiana. The rest of the state does their weird thing with Eastern time, and they sometimes change it. But that should just prove the point. Like, it's part of Chicago. So I just, and now that it's gotten out into the national sphere, you'll see people commenting like, "Oh, they can't. How can they keep the name Chicago?"
Well, then that just exposes the national idiots. So, like, the New York Jets, who play in New Jersey, and
Don't even play in the same state.
right, yeah. I don't know who else. That's my main one.
I have the list, and I didn't write it down, but I'll go over it the best I can. So obviously the Jets and Giants don't even play in the same state. So that'd be
Right.
the most apt comparison, right? Because everybody else, I believe,
Wait, where
is
do the Giants
same
play?
state. Who?
Where do the Giants play?
They both play in the same stadium.
Oh,
They both play in New Jersey. Jets and Giants share that stadium. They're in New Jersey. The Buffalo Bills don't play in Buffalo. Their brand new stadium they just built is in Orchard Park, which is the same place the old stadium was. So that's one. Miami Dolphins play in Miami Gardens, which isn't Miami. They're outside of Miami. Dallas Cowboys play in Arlington, not in Dallas. Like 40 minutes away from actual downtown Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. San Francisco 49ers, their new stadium is in Santa Clara. It's like 50 minutes away. I mean, think about where 50 minutes is from the city of Chicago. That's like Rockford. Completely, like the 49ers stadium is actually closer to San Jose than it is San Francisco.
yes. I knew that.
And I'm probably missing a few. Cleveland is building a new stadium.
Where'd they say the Raiders play?
Yeah, Vegas. They play in Paradise, Nevada. They're not
Yeah.
in technically Vegas. Yes, there's
Yeah.
another one. And I'm probably missing both LA teams technically aren't in LA. They're in
In
Inglewood.
Inglewood, yeah.
So, and then Cleveland
And that's
is
the
building,
same for basketball, too.
Yeah, they're all no, none of them are in LA. None of the basketball plays in Inglewood too, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. But Cleveland's building a new stadium. I think they broke ground, or they're about to, and they're going to be in Brook Park, which is right on the outside of Cleveland. It's actually right by the airport, but it won't be in
But
Cleveland.
Chicago's always been like that. You know how you always, I know you've seen the memes where they're like, "Well, I'm from Chicago," and you know that person's from Naperville.
Chicago, not Chicago.
Yeah, and so Chicago people have always been like that, and they're gatekeeping something that really doesn't exist anymore. Like, they're like, think about all the things that are really Chicago, right? Like beef, pizza, hot dogs,
Yeah.
the accent that doesn't exist anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you gatekeeping? Imaginary
get it.
lines?
I just never understood that either. It's like if I'm like visiting in Florida and I meet, talking to some people at a restaurant or whatever, and they're like, "Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Lansing." "I'm from Dyer."
Right.
Where the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago. It's just
Right.
Or
like
suburban Chicago.
I would say I'm from like 30, 40 minutes south of Chicago.
Yeah, but you still use Chicago as the reference point.
Yes.
And people are gonna be
You
like,
have to.
"Oh, okay."
Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about otherwise.
And even if I told
Name
somebody, I'm like,
I challenge any out of towner to name another fucking city in Illinois.
right, yeah, somebody that's never been here. But that's just it's. Everybody wants to. Are they going to change their name to the Indiana Bears? No, the actual headquarters is still going to be in Illinois. And then the other thing, the last thing I'll cover is just to get this out there. So when the Bears renovated Soldier Field, there was the city and the Bears split it, right? I don't know if it was split, but whatever, there was an agreement. The Bears paid off whatever debt they had, the hundreds of millions of dollars that it cost to do it. Whatever the Bears were agreed in the contract to pay, Bears have paid. There's still 600 or whatever hundreds of millions of dollars owed on that renovation. The Bears own none of it. They paid for their share. And people want to point, the Soldier Field renovation wasn't even complete. That's not their fault. That's a stupid ass city that can't manage the property. The Bears use The Bears use Soldier Field 8-10 times a year. When they're not making the playoffs, it's 8 times. They're in that. They use it 8 times a year. That's it. The rest of the year, it's being used year-round, constantly, for all kinds of different events, concerts, soccer matches, high school, college, everything. The Bears get $0 of any of that goes in there. So the fact that the Bears even paid as much as they did to renovate Soldier Field, to use it 8 to 10 times a year and still basically lease it, pay rent, like that's an invalid argument to me. The city's making money on that stadium much more than the Bears are. And the Bears are receiving zero money other than the gates that they bring in on game day. So that's an irrelevant problem too. That's the stupid city that can't handle their finances.
It never could.
Right, it's Illinois, everything. They're broke. That's why taxes have to tax everything. So that's it. I'm done talking about the stadium thing. We'll still keep talking about it. Again, the one thing that, until I see shovels in the ground, one thing I haven't seen from Hammond, and I said this in December, when the Bears first said that they were going to, think about Hammond or Indiana. First of all, I think Gary was a much better site. They have the property right there off 8094. The casino's right there. There's plenty of room. They could build a whole complex right there. So I didn't understand why that wasn't even feasible. Like, the Bears didn't even consider it. But I said it in December. McDermott is he's a nut. He's a loon. And I definitely said it when it first happened that I would not put it past McDermott to somehow land the Bears. He's a nut job, and he's very aggressive, and he's cutthroat, and he kind of gets what he wants. So I didn't put it past him getting him. So that didn't surprise me. I made that comment back in December to somebody when they first said this, that don't put it past him to get it. So I don't know what he did to convince him to not even consider Gary, because I thought Gary would be a much better plan. But whatever he did, whatever pockets he lined or palms he greased, he did it. So now, like I said, I have not seen the one thing about Hammond though. Have you seen I have not seen a rendering. Like, it's usually the first thing. Like, even Portage came out with their rendering of, which was actually really nice over there on the lake. All these towns put out renderings of this is what it would look like.
Towns that weren't even considered. Not even in the conversation.
Like, hey, it's like Fort Wayne. Like, here's a rendering.
I think I seen one for Lockport and Rockdale.
But I have not seen any kind of official rendering of Hammond, because I'm curious as to how they're going to make that land and that property works. I guarantee they've had to have somebody come in there. And,
I mean, I can make you one if you want to wait 5 minutes. I'll just throw it in ChatGPT.
But
in my data center.
Which is just something to me that's really odd. I do know they have been over there to test some of the soil and stuff like that. They did that back in, I think, December or January. They did that a long time ago. Everybody's like, oh, they haven't even looked at... They did do some preliminary testing of the land over there, so they have gotten that far, but I find it weird that there's not been any kind of rendering or anything when it comes to that from Hammond.
Do I need to put the lights on? It's really dark outside right now.
It's supposed to. It looked like it was about to rain when I came down, so it's fine.
My lighting okay?
Yeah, you look a little like it's a little dark, but it's fine. I can see you. So just like I said, until I see shovels in the ground or an actual press conference where the Bears are standing next to the mayor of Hammond and they're having this, handshake and everything like that, I'll believe what I see. So, but the Bears, they do need to get something going. Like, it's been years. Like, make an agreement and let's start. McDermott said the other day or last week or whatever, he says they could start construction this summer if the Bears give them the go-ahead. So I don't know if that's true, and I don't know if that's possible, but they definitely could start it in Arlington Heights. So they gotta move on it. Like, it's the NFL's pressuring them to get out of Soldier Field. Soldier Field is not a viable location for NFL going forward. That was directly from the NFL. So they have to get something. They have to get something going. So I don't foresee this going much further. I think they're giving Illinois one last chance, and then that'll be it. One last super chance. But we'll see. But that's all. So enough of the Bears Stadium. I just wanted to get that off. That's been the bane of my existence the last few days with that. One thing I did want to go over is I wanted to go. It's been way so lots has happened since the last really 2 times we've done this. So the Cubs were good, and then now the Cubs suck. Cubs were good for a while. They're terrible right now. And it's
What was it,
June
18
8th.
to
So
3 the other day?
they did what?
18 to 3?
It's not even that. It's like I get it. Their whole pitching staff's hurt. They're doing the best they can with pitching, so those games are going to happen. The offense sucks. All their offensive guys are there for the most part, and they just can't hit. Like, all the guys they're paying all this money to can't hit. So I'm not going to get into the Cubs. They're just depressing. But no accountability. That bothers me. I'm not saying they should fire counsel. They're not going to fire counsel, but at some point, something has to change. Like, you keep doing the same thing over and over and being like, oh, things will even out, things will even out. I'm tired of hearing that. Things even out. By the time they even out, they're going to be 10 games out of first place. Again, behind the Brewers. The Brewers don't have all these issues where they have to wait for things to even out.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It's like we're too slow to they're too slow to react. They don't want to make any changes. He plays these veterans, and I get it. You're paying him money, so like Swanson and Hap's been really good lately. So I won't say much about that. But he went through a horrific slump. Bregman's been bad all year. Bush was bad at the beginning of the year. It's like he keeps playing these guys no matter how bad they are. But when they call up some of these rookies, sometimes they can provide a spark. The way it works in baseball, sometimes you call up a guy from AAA, especially if they were hot in AAA. You call up like somebody like Alcantara, and maybe he comes in and you play him for 4 or 5 games and he continues to be hot. Pitchers don't know who he is. It happens all the time where you see like guys just come up and just crush the ball for like a week when they first get called up. And then the league figures out, oh, if I just throw this guy a curveball, he can't hit it.
Right.
But you take advantage of the 10 games while you can. So they call up Alcantara. He's basically done nothing but pinch run. What was the point of calling him up? Let him play in AAA then. But that's what counsel and veterans have this giant runway, which, again, they've earned. I get it. But how long do we let it go until we make changes? Like, it's so frustrating. Like, a rookie comes up and has like 2 bad games, you'll never see him again. And then, but the Swanson can be terrible for the entire year, and he's still going to keep playing. That kind of stuff bothers me. It's a meatball mentality. I know, like, oh, play this guy because he can't be any worse than that guy. Well, that's kind of what it is. It's like you're looking for a spark. Sometimes that's all baseball season needs is somebody comes in and provides a spark, and it turns your whole season around. But you can't just expect the same. Like, there's one guy playing well right now. It's PCA, and that's about it. Some guy, Nico's been pretty bad lately. Swanson sucked. Bregman sucks. Bush has been okay since the beginning of the year, but only okay. Hap's been all right the last week or so, but he was really bad for a while. And
I was never sold on Hap. I like him, but I
the
just
first couple weeks. What?
I was never sold on Hap.
You can't. Hap's another one of those lightning rod guys. Like you're not allowed to criticize Ian Happ on social media for whatever reason, because they will come. The Ian Happ ass licking society will come fight you as soon as you mention that Happ's not having a good game. Like, he was bad for like a month, like could not get a hit, and nobody said anything about Happ. Like, it was quiet, and then like he has one good hit, and everybody's like, "Oh, where are all the Happ haters now? We've been here for a month. Where have you guys been?"
Yeah.
I don't hate the guy. I think Ian Happ's a good player, but
I will never ever hate him. He's always gonna be part of that team. You know,
he
like
just
part
is
of.
what he is.
He wasn't very good then either. Like,
no,
he was okay.
On a good team, he would be a great guy, a great like 7th hitter, bat 7th in the lineup. But they bat him 3rd and 4th, mainly kind of by necessity.
Sure,
but he's not a 3rd or 4th hitter, and I hate that they try to pigeonhole him into that. He's just not.
It's funny that you say that. You know, that you're kind of like that meatball fan that's like bench that guy. You know, the older I get, the more I feel like that. Like, when I was younger, I was, you know, dead set on my team. Like, you can't break a slump if you're not going to play him.
Yeah.
You know, but now I'm just like, are we going to win here? Are we just going to lose 10 games?
I just hate the lack of, like, It's
I'm getting older. I don't want to wait.
this
I don't have
current-
108 years to wait for another World Series.
with this current regime with Hoyer and everybody, they're so reactive to everything, or they're reactive, and they're way late on everything. It goes even to putting guys on IR. They seem to have gotten better about that this year, but there's been times where they'd be like, "Oh, he's going to miss a couple days," and then the guy ends up missing like 10 days. You could have just put him on the DL or the IL, like instead of playing a man short for literally 10 days. You could have had an extra guy, but that and their farm system's not very good. So there's not a lot of help. They got some decent hitters in the lower minors that they're going to need because I think Happ and Say will be gone after this year and they can clear some money there. But there's no pitching. They still, how many years has he been here? And if you watch every other team, every guy that comes out of a bullpen for a team is throwing like 98. They might be any good, but they're throwing 98, 100. Cubs have nobody that throws like that, and neither do they ever call anybody up. Like the guys they call up, they're like 93. Like how come the Cubs can't just find these random guys? Like I'm not asking for them to find a starting pitcher that is great. That would be great if they could do that, but the fact that they can't even have like a bunch of guys that they can call up from AAA that are just they could drop into a bullpen. They just picked up some other guy today off waivers. That's all they do is pick up guys off waivers to fill their bullpen. And I'll give him a little credit. He does usually do a pretty good job of finding a bullpen, but why is your system not developed a bunch of arms that you can fill? That's how teams fill bullpens. Bullpens are volatile. You don't pay money for bullpens. You just keep finding these guys, and they pitch, good for a year, 2 years, throw 100 miles an hour, then their arm falls off, and you have the next guy come up, throw 100 miles an hour until his arm falls off. Cubs don't do that. They haven't been able to develop that, and why? That's the problem. But I'll get off my Cubs horse. I know we probably got to wrap up here soon. You have to get to your Walmart. It's 3:30.
Well, it's raining now, so
Wait, Walmart closes when it rains?
just gonna wait that one out. No, I gotta bring 2 kids out in the rain, and like whenever I have to do that, Vince acts like he doesn't know how to buckle himself in the car. So like I already have to buckle the fucking toddler, the 20-month-old in the car. Then I have to run around the other side, and Vince is like sitting on his belt buckle, and wants to read his book, and he's like doing everything that he can so that I'm drenched by the time I get into the car. So it's just not appealing to take a kid out in the rain.
I get you. I get it. You do curbside, so you can just pull up and make the terrible Walmart employees bring you your stuff?
Yeah, but I didn't do it this time. But well, I usually so why the Walmart employees hate me is because I only really do curbside when I need water, but I buy like the 40 packs of water, so and I buy like 5 of them at a time. So and then like the stroller's always in the way in the back seats. Like they have to move this. They're like, "Do you want it back here?" I'm like, "Yeah, can you just move this?"
Figure it out.
I know you work at Walmart, but like they have to teach you some form of like Tetris here, right?
Yeah, that's the only skill that you develop working at any kind of place like that, not just Walmart. Like how to stack things in a car or put things in the back.
Right. So,
All right, before we go, since it is quarter of the way through the baseball season, I wanted to go back through some of my original picks, and see where we're at on these, and have probably a laugh because a lot of them are pretty bad. I couldn't, some of these picks I couldn't have done worse if I was trying to pick the worst team. So let me just go through here and see what I got, since I do have my sheet here. All right, so award-wise for Cy Young, I picked Garrett Crochet. I don't. Nah, probably not. Not that he's been bad, but that goes kind of in line with what we'll get to in a minute with the whole Garrett Crochet. AL MVP, I went with Vlad Jr. Probably not. Not that he's been bad. I don't think he's going to win MVP. But for Rookie of the Year, I did say Murakami from the Sox would win Rookie of the Year, and that almost it's not a sure thing, but I think I'm going to get that one.
You're still in the running.
I got that one.
You're still in the running. Yeah.
I am. I think I'm pretty good shape with that. That's definitely, and I did put money on all these, so I will win. I have money on every one of these bets, so I put my money where my mouth was. Most of it is going to cost me, but I might win a few dollars here and there. National League Cy Young.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
Cade Horton was my National League Cy Young winner. He is dead. Not really dead, but he's out for the season. Terrible on that
Careful,
one.
there's been a lot of sports deaths lately.
Yes, it's true. I don't want to prematurely kill Cade Horton, but as far as my bet for National League Cy Young, the bet is dead. So I did not. That was a bad. I can't do anything about injuries, but missed that one. MVP, I had Juan Soto. I think the MVP race in the NL is probably still too early to call, but the Mets are bad. They're terrible. So he is not going to win MVP on that Mets team. So I'm going to chalk that up as a no. Not like a terrible bet, just the fact that the Mets are terrible. Most of my awards you'll see in a minute, were attached to teams I thought were going to be good, right? That's how awards work. So that's that. So Rookie of the Year in the National League, I kind of went a couple different guys I wasn't sure I bet to. Connor Griffin, who's been okay with Pittsburgh, and then I had Ballesteros for the Cubs, who started off really good. I'm like, I'm going to get both Rookie of the Years, and he's just been bad lately. Last couple games he's played a little better, so I'm hoping that can turn around real quick. And I still might win that. I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. There's too many other good rookies, but you never know. I'm not completely out of the woods on that, but he needs a really strong second half. All right, now here's the teams that I picked to win the divisions and wild cards and whatnot. AL East, I had the Red Sox. They're one of the worst teams in the American League. They're not even. They're
in last place.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a terrible pick. In the AL Central, I did go with Cleveland, who is currently leading that division, but that's usually pretty easy.
I think that's probably the easiest division to pick.
Right, it's Cleveland every year.
Yeah.
Detroit being really bad, we'll get to that in a second, it was something that I did not see coming. AL West, I did go with Seattle. That looked really bad to start the season, but I think that it's evening out now. I think Seattle will win that division eventually, but that one looks pretty good. So I'm going to take credit for that so far, quarter of the way through the season. My AL wildcard teams were KC, Detroit, and Toronto. Maybe Toronto, but Detroit definitely is not. That was a bad pick. Toronto, that's still a chance they can get back into it.
I think I remember being shocked that you picked anybody from the AL Central.
You know what I should have freaking picked was the White Sox. And I think I'll have to go back. We'll have to go back and look at that, listen to that show. But I think I did mention that I was kind of interested in the White Sox, playing the White Sox as a wild card.
Honorable mention to the White Sox.
They're fun. The Sox are fun. It's so frustrating watching them as a Cubs fan because they're extremely fun and enjoyable to watch. So before I get on to the rest of these real quick, I will say this about the Sox. As a Cubs fan, and just my general sports brain works, I always look for reasons why things can go wrong or why things won't work, right? I'm always pessimistic. Grew up that way as a Cubs fan. If I was a Sox fan and they're playing really well and their offense is fun and they're even, I know Murakami's gone for a little bit, but he'll be back. I don't know if the Sox can sustain it this year. They're ahead of schedule, right? Nobody expects them to be as good as they are this year. The problem when you become ahead of schedule, when you're a rebuilding team, is your pitching. They have a ton of young pitching and good young pitching. And some of them are up pitching with the team, and some of them aren't. The problem when you have young pitchers is innings limits. So what do you do if you get to the end of the season and you're in the running, like, do you overextend these pitchers and risk, them being like, hey,
Arms out.
arm falls off next year. Then when you're really good or when you think you're actually ready to compete, they're not there. So how do you replace that pitching? So you may have some good, like Davis Martin is pitching really well. I don't think he would be a guy in innings limit, but like Noah Schultz and a couple of the guys they have in AAA that are really good pitchers that are going to be ready to go. There's no way these guys are going to be. They're going to have to cut them off. So where do you find the pitching toward the end of the season? Or if you're in the running, do you run these guys out? Do you run their arm off and take that risk? I don't think the Sox would do that. They're just ahead of schedule. So that's what happens when you're a rebuilding team. When you
I
have
felt
a
like
lot.
they had been managing that though. I felt like they had been like pretty good with middle relievers and
They're managing it well now, but like when you get to the end of the season, it's all hands on deck, and it's like you have 3 of your 5 pitchers in the rotation are young guys that have never thrown more than 100 innings in a season. What do you do when they're at 100 innings and you still have September to go? It's like it's hard to manage that. I don't know how you do that. You remember the Mets a few years ago when Matt Harvey was their best pitcher, and and they did it with Strasburg too in playoff runs. They shut him down because of that, and I don't think the Sox. It's hard to manage that when you're a young team like that when you have a bunch of things. So, anyways, that would be my worry about the Sox sustaining. But their offense is really fun to watch.
well, I can't wait for that. That's a new irritation level unlocked for me because that irritated Mario when that happened to Matt Harvey and Steven Strasburg.
Yeah.
And now that it's his team, so when we get to September and it's the White Sox, I know he's just going to be screaming at the TV. He'll probably put his
Yeah, they're just
hands
that,
on the
it
TV
sucks.
or the clicker.
It happens to teams that rebuild and then they get good quicker than they think, right?
I don't think about
hitters
them.
are
So I
ahead of
don't
the
think
pitchers.
about them in terms like that. 'Cause I fucking hate the Sox. So like anything bad that can happen. But if my TV is gonna be, my TV is gonna be a casualty of this. I'm gonna be really upset about that.
Yeah, but the offense is good. The offense is fun. I like watching them. It sucks that they have all these kids they call them. They hit home runs. They're not the greatest, but and I got all these high paid guys in the Cubs that can't put the
But I
bat
feel
on the
like
ball.
the Sox with Tim Anderson were fun too, and like,
Yeah,
what the fuck happened there?
Yeah, they were fun for a little bit.
And like, where is Tim Anderson now?
But
I-
then
so
that
I
team
don't know.
fucked everything up when they hired La Russa. That immediately made them not fun anymore. That just made me want to make them like I never really root for the Sox, but I do like watching the Sox right now. It's like it's a fun entertaining brand of baseball to watch a Sox game. Like I watch the Cubs game and it's just frustration and bringing hell and irritation because you put all these guys on base and it's just predictable and you're like, well, they're not gonna get this guy in. Like last night, they had guy in third and less than 1 out to tie the game, and you have your 3 and 4 hitters coming up. All one of them has to do, the first one, all Bush had to do is hit the ball to the outfield. He pops up to second, and then of course Bregman comes up and can't get him in. Again, don't get me started on the Cubs. Maybe the next time we do this, they'll be back on a winning streak, but I highly, highly doubt it.
Because when they were good, they were good. They got on
There was
base
still-
and they
there
scored
was
when they
still-
had to.
underlying issues when they were winning all those games. They still struggled to hit with guys on base. That's been a problem all year. Just it was masked a little bit when they were winning all those games in a row. But like you have two like if you're not going to hit, you got to hit home runs, and they're not hitting home runs. Like you can mask the hitting of the guys in scoring position if you pop a ball every now. The Cubs put guys on base. They're not bad at that. They definitely have a lineup that gets on base. The problem is it's magnified when you hit home runs. Like if you get a couple guys on base and one guy hits a home run, it hits a 3-run home run. That's there you go. You can win a game 3-1. But they put all these guys on base and they need somebody. Nobody hits a home run, and then they rely on a guy to get a hit with 2 outs, and it just doesn't happen. They're not very good situationally. So you can be not good situationally if you run into ball. If you have a couple guys run into a ball every now and then, they don't even do that. So I don't know where they find the offense. And everybody's like, oh, they can't be this bad. But they are.
They
So
you're only
That's-
fooling yourself.
they are this bad, and they're like, oh, things will get better. It's like it's all things baseball. So it evens out for what 3-4 months, and then all of a sudden they get to a wild card game in
And they
October.
blow it.
And they go back to being bad again. Like
Yeah.
if they have the ability to be bad, that exists. So that might reoccur in September or October. So that's what I don't understand when people say, like, the Brewers don't go through extended slumps like that. And that frustrates me to watch them do that. Like, they may have their whole lineup doesn't just stop hitting, and that's what happens with the Cubs. It's so beyond frustrating. It's like, look, they have again, they've been bad for a month now. They haven't won a series in literally a month, a calendar month. They have the ability to have a bad month. It's not just going to never happen again, right? Like, what makes you think, oh, that month was just an aberration? No. Like, how did just the whole, and that's kind of where analytics is like, everybody, well, look at the end of the year, everything will even out. No, that's the one thing. Like, I'm an analytics guy. I like analytics, and I like using numbers, and I think there's some valuable numbers, and some stats and things can tell you and be predictors of how things are going to go, but there's also some over reliance on it, and you got to balance it both ways. And real quick story, because I know we got to get going before I get to the rest of my picks here, and I play the buzzer because that's pretty much what's left. I was reading an article, and Theo is back. He's part of the Red Sox front office. He's like not in the front office, but I think he's part of like the group there, right? He does something with them. He's a guy they probably call on the phone and say, hey, what can we do? Like, he's not in the technically front office. He's an advisor, whatever his title is. But he's in the Red Sox organization somehow. And everybody wants to think Theo was one of the innovators of the analytics movement, right? Like, Theo was born of Billy Beane, right? Like, if you really go, like, you've seen Moneyball, we've all seen Moneyball, right? Billy Beane goes, at the end of the movie, goes to take the Red Sox job, right? They offer him the job, and Billy Beane ends up turning it down, right? The guy who took the job after he turned it down was Theo. So Theo took that job, but Theo was a disciple of all of the analytics movement, right? He was one of the forerunners of it. Theo was able to see both. Even though he used analytics and he was really high up on it, he still was a people person, right? You gotta go both ways. Like, you can use analytics so far. So there was an article, like, one of the Red Sox GM is Craig Breslow, which was hired away from the Cubs front office. I know I'm boring you.
No, you're not. I'm up all night because my asshole kid is cutting his teeth, so
But
pay no
Breslow-
attention to my yawning.
It's fine. I'm boring everybody. Craig Breslow was a guy hired away from the
I'm
Cubs.
really finding this interesting.
So
I'm
Breslow,
learning a lot.
Breslow worked for the Cubs. He is like super like big-headed brain guy, right? That was like, he changed the whole Cubs infrastructure, and he gets a lot of credit for that, even though, as I said before, I don't see the Cubs pitching infrastructure producing much ever. Like, they haven't produced shit. But he get a lot of credit for doing something. He was able to transform. He built the whole pitching infrastructure, the whole pitching side of it. He got rid of a lot of old Theo guys and old Jed guys. He really got super credit for it. He was the pitching infrastructure coordinator, whatever his title was. Boston hired him as a GM. There's the Theo Jed connection there. It's probably how he got the job. But there's an article that came out I was reading last week that the Red Sox are bad. Obviously, we looked at that, and that there's that Breslow is so analytically aimed, and he's so like that Theo is not happy with him. Like that, it's like there's a disconnect there between Theo and Breslow, and Theo thinks that they're too analytically driven. So at some point, there's a line. You have to be able to see both sides of it, and it's interesting that of all the people, Theo is pushing back on some of the analytics there. And there was even a statement in there that they said Breslow literally would benefit from a translator to help him speak baseball because he's just too smart, and he talks in like non-baseball terms, so he doesn't connect with like a lot of baseball people because of he's just so far into the stratosphere of like talking analytics, and he's just over smart. So they literally needs a translator to come and dumb him down. So I thought that was interesting, especially when it comes to, like I said, Theo being involved. So anyways, to speed up the process, I'm going to go through my, I don't know where I left off. Here we go. National League. My National League teams, right?
Yeah.
National League East, I had the Mets. I played that buzzer 100 times, so they're between the Mets and Red Sox, and we'll get to that. Two of the worst teams in both leagues, and I had them winning. So the Mets are bad, and they really haven't had any huge injuries. They're just bad. In the National League Central, I had the Cubs. That didn't happen. That's not going to happen. In the National League West, obviously the easiest of easy predictions, I had the Dodgers. So, but that's like
a free space on a bingo.
Right, it is. It's a free space. Exactly, free space Dodgers. So, National League wild cards, I had Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's hanging around that same record as the Cubs right now, so if I think the Cubs are making the playoffs. I thought Pittsburgh would be a little better than they are, but they are still in the running. There's definitely a possibility. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Still a chance. I also had the Padres. Padres playing better of recently, still in the running, so no buzzer, no victory on the Padres. Same with the Phillies. So the Phillies was a buzzer to begin the year. Then, hey, look, the Phillies fired their manager, and since they fired their manager, they've been really playing really well. Oh, imagine what happens. You make a change. That just shows you that it doesn't always work. Now, firing people isn't always the answer, but sometimes it shakes things up. Like, sometimes do something. Like, I'm not asking the Cubs to fire Counsell, but I think at some point they should fire, like, the hitting coach. And, like, I don't think hitting coach...
I've felt that way for a long time. The hitting coach has been garbage for a while.
Right. Like, I know hitting coaches don't do much. Like, you're not teaching anybody...
You're not teaching professionals something they don't know, you know?
Right. But the term hitting coach is such a bad term because they're not teaching or coaching anybody. Like, they're not, Alex Bregman, here's how you should swing. Like, none of that's happening, right? But I do think a hitting coach is responsible for, especially in an analytics-driven organization like the Cubs, is
responsible for hits?
For game planning, right? He should be going over, hey, this is what this pitcher does. This is how they're going to pitch you. Here's what they're doing. Here's where they're going to play. All that is what the hitting coach should be doing.
And then reviewing the way that they perform at the plate. Are they responding to the advice that's given? Are they not responding to the advice that's given? Like, it's not
you got somebody like Bregman who's been a good hitter his whole career, all of a sudden can't hit.
All of a sudden can't hit, yeah.
Like, I know he didn't change his hitting mechanics.
Right.
So the Cubs are being pitched, basically, they are getting thrown more curveballs than any team in the league by far. Especially since the first month when they were really good. Teams are just throwing them curveballs or breaking balls. It could be curveball, slider, but all breaking balls. And it's like one of the biggest discrepancies in breaking balls to fastballs, and like since they started keeping track of like this kind of stuff. So it's like a astronomical amount of breaking balls they're seeing compared to what a normal lineup would see. So at what point can you tell these guys, like, adjust? Like, that's the hitting coach's job. Like, look, you guys are getting nothing but curveballs. I'd probably go up there and look for a curveball. Stop looking, hit the first curveball you see. Like, I'm just an idiot. Like, I watch a lot of games, and I see some of these they throw a lot of curveballs. They're not swinging at bad pitches. They're curveballs in the strike zone. And they just either beat them into the ground, pop them up, or just swing and miss it. So they're clearly just not adjusting to this. And at some point, that's got to be somebody's got to take a fall. Somebody. Like, you can't fire the players. It's the convenient excuse. I don't think the manager deserves to be fired.
I'd be fine with the hitting coach. I like Counsell.
I just think at some point you do something just to say, like, look, figure it out. Like, we can't fire you, but and the best thing is that all the hitters, hey, they really love the hitting coach. You don't want to fire him because all the hitters love him. He does a great job. Well, that's exactly why you should fire him.
Yeah, right.
You like that hitting coach?
Yeah.
You guys can't hit. You guys screwed over your.
If you
your
like
butt.
him so much, get some hits.
Right. So that's even better reason to make a move. Like, just do something to shake it up.
Right, like, there's nobody on that team that doesn't understand that if you don't produce for this guy that you love so much, like, he's gonna lose his job. In the middle of the season, he's not gonna land anywhere. Especially with his fucking track record.
Right. So I just wish they'd do something. But again, the Cubs just don't do that. They just expect everything to change. And it's never...
Everything's surrounded in whimsy and magic at Wrigley Field. So, like, they expect some divine intervention here that's going to magically
not even
solve
that. They
all
don't
their
expect
fucking
divine
problems.
intervention. They just
Henry
they're
Rowan
always
Gardner
things will work.
from
The
Evanston.
track record, the back of the baseball card, they'll get back to normal. But by when? By the end of the year, they'll all have these great numbers. But you're going to be 10 games out before anybody decides to do anything, and you're never going to catch Milwaukee, and you're going to get in as a wild card team and have to battle your way through. It's stupid.
No, it ends there. You get in as a wild card team and then you fucking blow it.
Yeah.
That's where it ends.
And then I don't even want they have a couple decent hitting prospects in the lower levels of their minors. Don't go trading them for a starting pitcher in July. I don't think they will, unless they get ridiculously hot again. But just don't. Just ride it out with what you have. Everybody's hurt. I don't know if Justice Steele will come back this year. Horton's not. Boyd will be back. Cabrera's not been very good. Really, since the first couple games he pitched. Maybe he'll figure it out, but you don't have the pitching. Like you're even if the hitting turns around, you don't have the pitching to win in the playoffs. They don't have an ace, and everybody wants them to go trade for Skubal. I'm not doing that. I don't think Skubal makes a difference. I don't trust the hitting to start hitting and keep hitting. Like, they may get hot, and they probably will get hot, and they'll get hot for a month or two, and then they'll cool off again, and then they get to the playoffs and they won't be able to hit. That's just the way it's going to go. And everybody be like, oh, see, look, their numbers evened out. They got to where they should have been. You can't. I just want consistency. In this lineup, the Cubs team under Hoyer's never really had that. They just never could figure out the hitting. They'll figure it out. Real quick, the rest of my playoff predictions. In the ALCS, I had the Red Sox playing Seattle. I think Seattle can get there again. Although that goes against my existence of when a team goes really far in the playoffs, unless you're like the Dodgers, it's hard to get back because you run your pitchers into the ground. And Seattle really didn't add a lot to their pitching staff. They kind of got the same pitching staff. But there's always a chance they get somebody at the deadline as well. So that always worries me when a team goes really far in the playoffs. It's like Toronto. That's why I don't have Toronto going very far. Because some of those pitchers, they literally ran them into the ground to try to win that World Series last year. So it's just hard to do that 2 years in a row, especially when you're dealing with young guys. In the National League Championship Series, I had the Mets. I don't know what I saw in the Mets. I have no idea. And then, of course, I had the Dodgers, which obviously is probably going to happen. But I did not have the Dodgers winning. I had the Mets and Seattle in the World Series. And my World Series champion after the Mets played the Seattle was the Mets. Nope. I don't know what I saw in the Mets. Totally misdiagnosed that. But we can revisit these maybe around the All-Star break and see if I have any of this turns around. But I don't see the Mets being good. The Red Sox aren't going to be good. Those are my two biggest fails on that. So
you want to hit it once a month?
I know you got to get to Walmart.
You want to hit it once a month?
Yeah, we can look at this every month. I don't like half of my guys are dead. Like Kate Horton is I'm not getting that back. I don't think Crochet's been hurt in and off. The Red Sox are bad, so he's not winning anything. The Mets are bad, so he's not winning anything. So I'm relying on my Rookie of the Year bets. And and maybe a couple of my division bets if I can. If I can get Pittsburgh into the wild card team, I think that I'll be happy with that. Pittsburgh, I might get Pittsburgh, Padres, and Phillies. I could get all 3 National League wild card teams. Still have that chance. AL, I'm not getting Detroit. Detroit is off the board. Probably KC too, maybe Toronto, but whatever. We'll visit it. We'll look at it again next week or next month around the All-Star break. Maybe by then we'll have a Bears stadium shovels in the ground, or at least a confirmation of where they're going.
At least a drawing of what it'll look like.
A drawing. Give me a rendering. That's all I'm looking for. Something. Show me something that you're serious. Like I know Hammond's serious, but you think they would have had like some guy, like you said, let's go on ChatGPT and design something. I might do that later and post it up here on the Facebook page.
Can you give me one in Gary too with like dead bodies?
Gary had a rendering. Gary did it. Gary produced a rendering like
the
right off the
realistic
bat.
one from Gary where the dead bodies are coming up out of the ground. I want.
The Gary site was a good site.
Yeah.
They should have went to, like, I can't believe that he talked them out of not even considering it, because right where that's at, there's plenty of room, highway access,
Very
the
few dead
casinos right
bodies.
there. I don't know. I don't know why they. I don't know how he got. I don't know what bodies he had buried to be able to get them to say not even consider Gary, because it is what it is. I don't know if you've ever been to the casino over there, but it's a good site. Like it's fine, and it's easy access. The Hammond site is going to take some work, but we'll see. I think by we get to July, we'll have something. All right, I'll see ya. Peace
Bye.
out.
Yeah, text me later.
All right.